His wiener no work no more. I'm in Salad and I saw Boogie Nights. It is directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. This movie starts, we're following Eddie, and he has a bad relationship with his parents. Very relatable. Man, his parents suck. I also understand the need to get the heck out of that situation. Of course, he meets this guy who's like, hey, I do porn. And he's like, oh, I want to do porn. I have a massive wiener. And I love the name that he has. Dirk Diggler is his name. His porn star name. I'm just gonna call him Dirk throughout the rest of this review. He's doing a lot of porn, and I absolutely love the scene in which we see him having sex with a little lady friend of his and a porn star actress. I don't know if they're necessarily friends, but I do like the way that he's talking to her. He's like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm completely fine. He's like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, I get it. And I'm like, oh, good. This is great. I love this guy already. Of course, with his massive wiener. And I'm saying it's a massive wiener. So big. He's ridiculously big in the porn industry. This is the time in which the porn industry was booming. This is the 70s. This is late 70s. And he's really big everywhere. He's working with Reed Rothschild, which I'm just going to call him Reed throughout the rest of this review. So Dirk and Reed have some really cool action porns, which makes me really want to see it, because it's like, how can you make porn into action? Like, I'm so intrigued by that. They're also making cinematic masterpieces. They're putting their heart and soul and their wiener into this masterpiece over here. With all this massive wiener success, he buys a massive house. Massive, I guess not necessarily massive, it's a normal size car. It's a normal size car. He should have bought a massive car, because how else is he going to fit his giant wiener into the car? There's a New Year's Eve party that establishes a major tonal shift. So there's this guy who has a terrible wife who's cucking him, essentially. He's just like, oh my goodness, this disrespect from the woman, first of all. I cannot tolerate that. You should not disrespect your man like that. You should, in fact, be loyal to your man if you decide to marry him. But this woman is not. This woman just wants to have sex with every man that she meets, it seems like, and this guy has had enough of this. So the turn of the decade from the 1979 to 1980s, he does a little and then he does a little and then that's when the tragedies occur in this movie. Now it's the 80s, and you know what happens in the 80s? Cocaine. Cocaine is rampant, especially with Dirk and Reed, and Dirk is doing a lot of it. Like, wow, there's so much he's doing. He has coke dick. His wiener no work no more. He's doing too much cocaine. Dude, stop snoring that stuff. You're a porn star. Oh my goodness. Seriously, dude? Also, his cocaine use is so rampant that he's at a shoot and he's like telling people, hey, we have to shoot now. And I'm like, the cameras are going to be ready in 20 minutes. Guy, you gotta wait until the cameras are... You can't do your job without the cameras. Are you serious? You're gonna try to force a porn shoot to be early? Man, bad vibes all around. He does justifiably get fired. I am so happy that he gets fired, because I feel like with the size of his wiener being so big, so is the size of his ego once he does porn, and then he gets a lot of success and fame, and he's like, oh, well, I must be hot all the time. I must be amazing stuff, cool, radical stuff. People have to do what I tell them to do. And I'm like, dude, no, that's how you lose a job and career. Of course he gets fired. And is like, okay, well, I'm good. I'm amazingly talented at so many things. Like singing, which he is not. He is a terrible singer. He's the most out-of-tune, tone-deaf person I've ever encountered. And I'm like, of course no one wants to contact you about a record. You suck. I would think that maybe you would want to star in some comedy records, songs. That's the only purpose I would use your voice for, dude. Dude, stop singing. Chill out. But he's like, oh, I can't go back to the porn industry. I have to instead try singing. I'm like, no, no. I love focusing on the camera guy who fired Dirk because he has some other ventures. He's like trying to film this limousine scene, which is cool. But what's not cool is picking up a guy who isn't Dirk, who isn't like naturally talented at having a big old wiener and being performy about it. This guy is like actually trying to have sex with this porn star because he recognizes her from high school and then does a terrible job, not even trying at all to establish any foreplay. No foreplay is needed with women. You can just stick your wiener in them and then they'll like it and be like, oh yeah, I'm having a nice time. And it's like, no, obviously not. For good reason, he calls off the shoot. Great choice. I do not like this guy who tried to force himself onto that lady. There's people who don't like him either, and he gets beat up, which is fun. I like the part where he gets beat up because it's like, you deserved it, guy. You got it. Get wrecked. Haha. There's a lot of tragedies too. We're in like the 80s, kind of mid 80s now, and we have a bunch of people who are previously in the porn industry. They're not allowed to open businesses because they've had a previous history of doing porn or making porn videos, and now the banks are like, nope, we don't want your money. I'm like, but it's money. You don't care how it's used. You clearly don't. You'll willingly use money for war and drugs. Well, you don't know about the drugs probably, but you probably know about the war money that you're using. You won't take porn money? That's so much money. Dude, I don't agree with the banks, but that's what happened. And a bunch of these guys who are in porn, they're kind of not in mainstream anymore. They're kind of excommunicado. I think that means no communication with them. That's a John Wick thing. I think it's just a spy thing. Well, anyway, Dirk, he's so desperate for money now because he's spent it all. He didn't use his money right. He should have, I don't know, put a down payment on a reasonable house and paid off that house, and now you have a house. But instead, he's very desperate for money, and so he's gonna try to be a prostitute and then get beat up. And I'm like, I feel bad for you, Dirk. There's one more attempt to make lots of money, and it is to try to take a cocaine bag, fill it with baking soda, so it's half cocaine, half baking soda. But if you heat up baking soda and cocaine together, that makes crack cocaine. Oh my goodness. Alright, so they take this mixture, cocaine baking soda mixture, to the drug dealer. And it was like, here you go, here's some cocaine. And the guy's just trying it. I'm like, oh my goodness, you're essentially doing crack now. That's, or pre-rocked crack? I don't know much about crack. Gotta be honest about that. I just know what chemicals they are. There's so much tension in this scene. There's so much of I know what they're doing. They're trying to scam this guy. They're not gonna do good with that, I bet. But then there's this guy who's with them, with Dirk, with his friend Todd. Todd is just like, oh, I'm just gonna steal some more. I'm like, dude, you already won. Quit while you're ahead. You sold the guy essentially crack cocaine because it's baking soda and cocaine in a thing together, and then it's just gonna be used in the same combination. I don't know how math works or science works, but still, you're scamming the guy, and you're just gonna be like, oh yeah, let's just steal some more stuff. Like, oh my goodness, you're gonna get wrecked for that. And he does. He sure does. Luckily, Dirk gets out of there. Gets out of there alive. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy for his safety. Man, I had such an emotional roller coaster. I saw him at the beginning of his porn career, and what I thought was the end of it, and his attempts to make more money, and then he's getting into dangerous situations, and he might as well just go back to porn, which is, he does do that actually, which is very nice. He goes to his roots. Once you're a porn star, you can never go to another job. So do well in porn, Dirk, while you have the wiener that you have. I like the ending where it shows what everybody would be doing if they didn't do porn. Like, Reed mentioned that he wanted to be a musician. Like, he has other aspirations other than having sex on camera. And he does become a magician, which is cute. And Dirk is kind of just like, well, wiener. That's what I'm good for. Wiener. And wow, he has a long wiener. That is big. That's a big old wiener right there. That's how the movie ends. Man, this movie was a wild trip. The soundtrack is awesome. It's so groovy. It's so funky. Using songs from like the 70s in transition into the 80s. I'm like, wow. The songs like right on the edge of each decade kind of sound similar. I can see where the 80s sound comes from. It's a little blend. It's a transition from the late 70s sound. And I like the transition of music there. It's super disco. It's super sexy, super raunchy. This movie is full of sex, drugs, and violence. And I'm not expecting the violence when the violence happens. It catches me off guard, which is nice. Also, for a movie about making porn, it's not 100% nudity. I would call it tasteful nudity, except for I do see wieners. I don't see pussies, though. I see a lot of boobs. There's a lot of boobs in this movie. It's fun. I like it a lot. There's also a lot of like camera shots where there's not a lot of cuts. It's mostly like following the actor's motion, which I really like. And I'm like, wow, how many takes did they have to do to get this one clean single shot? It looks awesome. The camera's moving. The camera moving with characters is nice. But having the camera set up where it's also stationary at some points is nice and necessary for a movie with a lot of moving cameras. So the still shots add for a variety. I also like the editing of this movie a lot. It's nice. I like the music. I like the acting. I like the performers. And I like this very vicious reality tale. Because reality can be stranger than fiction sometimes, and I hear this is based on a true story. Did you like Boogie Nights? Let me know in the comments below. I gotta rate this movie like a solid 7.6 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another one. YouTube really likes that. You can also like, comment, subscribe, share this video with everyone you know. The ultimate goal of this channel is for me to become an expert movie reviewer, so if I haven't reviewed it on the channel, there's a chance I haven't even seen it at all. If you'd like to request a movie in the comments below, you can do that. You can fast track movie review at patreon.com/ASEPresents. $20 a month for one movie review per 1 month. $3 a month, how to draw Pokemon tutorials posted early and first, all at patreon.com/ASEPresents. And if you'd like to help support the daily grindiness of all these daily movie reviews, you can go to this link tree to find the way that you can help support daily grind of all these daily movie reviews. So you can go here. And until next time, mint salad, I'll see you later, my salad croutons, big bits.